Welcome to the Mentor Podcast, where the most highly motivated entrepreneurs come to get their weekly dose of financial stability with host Ron Legrand, as well as other nationally recognized thought leaders who will teach you how to get, grow, and protect your wealth.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mentor Podcast.com. I have with me today Shane Mahoney, who is totally off the subject of real estate. So I thought you guys needed a break. Shane is going to talk to you about actually spending some of the money that you make in real estate, enjoying life with travel, which is his expert. He's been at it for quite a while. So I don't know anybody knows more about Shane than Shane. So I'm going to let him tell you who he is and what he can do for you. And then I'll fire questions at you. Okay.
Sounds good, Ron. Thank you so much for having me on. And hope to be able to, educate and entertain. So I'm Shane Mahoney. I started Lugos Travel about 12 years ago in July. And I really did it because I had a passion for being able to travel better. And I figured I had a little bit of knowledge that might help the American traveler do that. And so Lugos Travel is a custom private luxury tour operation, and we send executive couples and families on private vacations in 66 tours in 19 countries worldwide. In addition, we also work on a custom basis for certain clients as well. And what I have done over the years, more than anything else, is specialized in letting my clients get back to their life in the fastest possible way. So, because it's my understanding that you're great at making money, and taking time away from you to do things like spending money is a double negative, right? And so what we do is we specialize on being able to save you the most amount of time and put you on vacation with the least amount of stress. And I think I'll let you ask the questions, but over the last 12 years, we've honed in a lot of systems and processes to be able to live up to that promise so that our clients can have an exceptional experience with the absolute least amount of stress.
Well, that sounds good to me. In fact, I want to dig deeper into what you do because I've been traveling all my life. Most of it for business, but some of it for pleasure. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, I think thinking back all these years, I think probably the best trip that I ever took was a guided trip in Europe through Germany and Austria and a lot of churches and a lot of scenery and so forth. And, we enjoyed it because every single day we were someplace else. We didn't have to think about anything except listen to them. And in my opinion, if you take a trip and you don't connect with somebody that knows the area, you miss most of the culture and most of the history. You just look at the scenery and then you leave. I do that with a postcard. I don't need to go there to do that. So I would assume that some of your travel includes some types of trips like that. Did the same thing going to Italy with that's how I saw the Colosseum. I had a guy walk us through there, skip the lines, and had a limousine toting us around the place. We didn't have to drive. We didn't have to take a bus or whatever. And it definitely took the stress off of it. I can tell you that.
Thank you, Ron. I really appreciate that question because, to be able to put that a frame on it, I think makes all the sense in the world. Perhaps what would be best is if I just sort of explain exactly what our clients get. And then later on, you can ask me about how we've sped up the process of doing that. Yeah. But essentially, every one of our tours has two main structures. And so the first structure we call the Essential Tour. And the Essential Tour includes everything that anyone would need, whether they've never been somewhere or they've been there 5 times. It's the exact same things every single time. Mm-hmm. And so what we include with every single Essential Tour structure is private, English-speaking, round-trip transportation with standard gratuity included. Anytime you have your luggage, starting from your very front door or anytime the journey is more than 20 minutes from point to point. We also include 4-star and up hotels with a minimum 1 category room upgrade so that our clients have a little bit more space, especially in European hotels. It more emulates the American hotel experience. We typically use boutique style hotels so that we can incorporate a historical or architectural component. And always we search for hotels that are within the city center so that they're walkable to a lot of other destinations, meaning that you don't necessarily have to take a lot of transportation time to get to and from certain things. We always include a welcome dinner on the first night, a farewell dinner on your last night, breakfast every single day. And finally, the Essential Tour includes 1 privately guided tour in each city you visit. We always include skip the line access with any of those particular tours, entrance fees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the first thing. And we have the world's only system that can quote that Essential Tour structure in under 10 minutes. Every other company in the world that does what we do can do it in 3 to 5 business days. So we'll put a pin in that and come to part 2. So
before you go to part 2, I really heard the part about skipping the lines.
Mm-hmm.
I have a weight problem. I hate to wait.
Yeah, I hate that too. But more than anything, it's about valuing time.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's not only that, it's just the aggravation of it. And then sometimes you're sitting out there in 90-degree heat, and that even makes it more miserable. Frankly, I'd book a guided tour just so I don't have to wait in line, forget the rest of the stuff. That just ruins it for me. If I see a long line, I don't even want to go there.
Well, it's a bummer to spend, 50 weeks of your year waiting for your 2-week vacation and then get there and have to wait even more for certain things.
Yeah. Right.
I'm of the opinion that once you've waited for your vacation, that's all the waiting you really need to do.
Amen. Okay. All right.
So part 2 is important because that's how we take the Essential Tour structure and we make it personalized and customized for our clients. So if you're following along, this is let's say there's a 9 or a 10-day tour that visits 3 cities. You get 3 privately guided tours. That leaves roughly 6 days where there's what we say is at leisure. Now, we did that for 2 reasons. One, some people, like myself, prefer to let serendipity win. They'd like to just have no particular plan, see what happens. And we think that that's absolutely fantastic. I will be the first to say that our Essential Tour structure is everything that you need to have a good time and absolutely nothing else. But we offer part 2 for those days at leisure because some people want to make it distinctly their own. And part 2 comes in 4 flavors. And what they are curated options that you can add to your tour that make it a little bit different. And so our first flavor we call Savor. That's our foodie category. And you can put things like wineries, breweries, distilleries, tastings, cooking classes, or Michelin star dining experiences into that. Our second category we call Explore, and that's for anything cultural related. So if you want to take a deeper dive into the history, the people, the places, or anything like that, we offer curated tours that cover those subjects. If you're more of the adventurous set, our third category we call Excite. It's anything adrenaline related. And Ron, this one takes the most explanation because it depends on where you are in the world as to what we can offer. But in certain places, it includes zip lining and whitewater rafting. In other places, it includes driving a Ferrari on or off the track. We can fly you in a P-51 Mustang over World War I battlefields. If you're feeling really froggy, we can put you in a Navy fighter jet experience in Belgium, or anything, hot air balloon ride, anything that's going to get an adrenaline response. And then our last category we call Pampered. And it's for anybody who already understands they like the best of everything. And so what we offer with Pampered is abilities to upgrade your room all the way to a 5-star suite or junior suite. or we offer half day, full day spa packages, or a personal shopping experience where, for all intents and purposes, you get the Julia Roberts experience of going into the back end of the highest end stores and getting them to cater to you in every way.
Okay.
Now, that covers those things. But one of the things you brought up, and I'm so glad that you did, you mentioned that if you don't have a local expert, you could miss a very distinct thing for that particular place that you're visiting. And if you didn't do it, I love how you said it, you could have just had a postcard. And I 100% agree. As a matter of fact, one of the things that really chapped me about this business is that in a lot of cases, other companies will do what's called an amenities kit. Now, I'm sure that you've traveled a lot. Ron, have you ever gotten a bottle of champagne in your room?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Okay. Were you in France when that happened?
I don't remember.
See? All right. So let's just say, for example, you go to Spain and you get a bottle of champagne in your room. I think that's fantastic. I think we can all agree that a good bottle of champagne is a great gift and we can enjoy it. But ultimately, what ended up happening is that you as the client paid me for a Spanish vacation and I gave you a French experience. And really, that was the mismatch that allowed me to think about an entirely new product that no other company offers. And we call it our custom daily amenities kit. Our custom daily amenities kit has found locally sourced, locally produced specialties in all areas. Things like cologne, candy, clothes, jewelry, knives. We've done bowls, food, non-food, you name it. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a local specialty that's locally produced. And we have one of those items delivered to your room every single day. Because it's my opinion that if you don't know what a Couberdon is and you're in Belgium, you're not going to know to ask for it. And if you don't ask for it or get it, you're going to miss out on that experience. Same as a calisson in the southern France. There's a lot of things that we know as the experts of that area that we can give you a better experience by making sure that just because you didn't go down the right street or stop in the right store, you didn't miss out on a single thing.
Well, Sean, I'm ashamed to say that I don't know what either one of them things are. So
okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's the thing is, right? Like, Ron, that's the whole point is you're an expert in real estate. Mm-hmm. And if I had a real estate question, I would be able to depend on you to have a real estate answer that makes sense to me and makes me money. Now, the alternative is you need to depend on me to be the travel expert so that I can deliver a travel experience. And that's exactly what we do with all of our clients. And that's what we focus on more than anything else.
Okay. Well, I assume I need to know where I want to go. What if I don't?
Great question. So that probably gets us to the part where we've made things the easiest. And so just to kind of put a boundary on that, you have to know how things are to know how they're different. And so the way that every single company in the world that operates tours like we do operates on the exact same way. And I know this because this is the exact same way I did for the first 10 years we were open. Every single client that comes in the door spends a 30-minute to an hour and a half phone conversation to be able to get your tastes, your likes, your dislikes, and things like that. At the end of that conversation, it's going to be 3 to 5 business days before you get one proposal. If you as the customer make any changes, whether it be the hotel, the dates, or any changes at all, it's going to be another 24 hours to 5 days to get you an update. And so what happens in the booking process is that people are spending 2 to 3 weeks waiting for information to be able to make a decision about where they want to go. And ultimately, your question was, what if I don't know where I want to go? And so that's where our system is completely different. My supposition was, I want you to stay an expert in your life so that you can keep making money that makes you more trips, right? And so our system has 66 tours in 19 countries on our website. And you just go to destination, Italy, and then you literally pick one of 12 different tours in Italy. And there's a little yellow box that says request my proposal. And you put in your name, your email, and your phone number. And in less than 10 minutes, you have a complete proposal that's good for any day of the year. So we don't care if you're leaving on a Tuesday in June or a Thursday in September. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Holy Week. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas to New Year's. It's the same price across the board so that we can deliver you speed and comfort. And it took us 2 years to be able to work with every single one of our partners to be able to flatten that curve of pricing and things like that so that we could deliver on that promise.
Give me that website again.
lugostravel.com. So it's literally this Lugos Travel. So Lugos, a very common question. My last name is Mahoney. People are like, why did you name it Lugos? Well, when I started my company, you'd have to know that my mother is from Paris originally, and I've always been a fan of mythology. And so I found that in ancient Gaul, which was pre-Roman France, Lugos was the god of all arts and the protector of all travelers. And so when Julius Caesar conquered Gaul, they renamed the god to Mercury. We all know that one. But Lugos was my commitment to the American traveler to be able to deliver a safe and effective plan for travel 100% of the time.
Okay, so when I go to the site, look up the available trips. Okay, do they all have dates on them, or can?
Nope, you can pick whatever dates you want. As a matter of fact, our system is, you can see, so to kind of further on your last question, which is, what if I don't know where I want to go?
Okay.
Well, in less than 10 minutes, you can pull 4 or 5 proposals in multiple different countries. You can get more information faster than you can with any other company in the world, so that you can make an educated decision about exactly what you want to do. And every one of those proposals has the 2-part structure with the essential tour and the enhancements. And so literally with your custom proposal, you can see exactly how much the tour is for double occupancy, for triple occupancy, or for quadruple occupancy where it's available. You can do a drop-down menu of how many rooms you'd like of whichever kind of category. And then from there, you can look at all the enhancements and you can literally pick exactly which ones you want, knowing exactly how much they are. And once you've made your tour exactly the way you like it to, then you can sign the proposal. It will automatically bill you a $5,000 deposit. And then our system will ask you to set up a meeting and you tell us when you want to go. And we don't care when it is.
Okay, so all of your tours are already arranged.
Correct.
So we pick one of those. What if we want you to design us something that's not on your list?
Sure. So that's our custom division, and pretty typically, custom clients are looking to have a specific number of days or specific places and things like that. And on that level, unfortunately, there's no way for us to build in that kind of speed. So we would be on the system where we have a meeting, we have a discussion. We do have a $1,000 custom proposal fee, which is non-refundable, but we do credit it towards your tour. And then from there, we'll provide you with one proposal, which is infinitely changeable until you're happy. But then, of course, then we'll take care of everything from there.
So I don't know where I want to go. I can go in there and look what you offer. Are these all okay? You say you've got several choices on there. Are they all specific time frames? In other words, 10 days, 9 days, whatever days?
Yeah, we start them at, I think we start them at the lowest of 5 days and the most of 17. Most travelers end up in the 8 to 12 day range. A lot of the custom work that we do is taking a 12-day tour and making it 10 days or vice versa. So, we're happy to kind of make those types of changes pretty quickly and effectively. But essentially, I built a system that has the ability to deliver speed in ways that's never been seen before. But unfortunately, Ron, I'm also limited by the technology and some things that we kind of have to revert and play both sides of the equation.
Shane, are these group tours?
No, they're completely private. So we never mix you with any other persons other than your specific group. So our groups can be one person, a couple, they can be a family. We typically end up at around 12 to 14 people or less. But if your group, as it were, is 20 people, we will happily create something custom for your whole group and keep you all together.
So with such small groups, how do we get the guided tour built into it?
Oh, it's already built in.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, even for two people, we do private tours. And Ron, the thing that I think I always want to make sure is definitions, right? What is a group tour versus what is a private tour? And group tours are where somebody is on your guide is on a specific schedule to show you specific things in a specific order. And typically this is signified by a flag or a paddle with a number on it. And then they tell you when it's time to go to the next thing. So let's say this is the Disney ride. It's on the rails. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you've traveled, 10 hours to be somewhere and you're really into something, you don't have a choice to stay as long as you like. It's time to go when it's time to go. Conversely, if you don't like what you're seeing, you're stuck. There's nowhere to go. You're still there, right? And that's what group travel looks like. Private travel is completely different. We can build everything according to your needs and your wishes. And so if you are enjoying what you are there to see, that you've spent time and money to see, we want you to stay there as long as you're happy. And conversely, if for any reason you're not into it, we've had clients that were at the Oyster Museum. They were big foodies. We thought they would love it. Turns out they didn't love it. And you know what? That's okay. As soon as they said, we don't love this, the guide stopped the tour there and immediately switched to something else. So it comes back to being able to protect your time. And so what we do is we focus on maximizing your time and your experience more than anything else.
Okay. I got to still get my head around that. I'm trying to think of a tour I would take. And I like that, by the way.
It's a much better way to travel.
I don't like it. I don't want to sit there and be bored to tears with it.
Right.
I think the trip I took to Mexico one time, Shane, you'd appreciate this. We took a bus. It must have been 95 degrees outside. Oof. Took a bus trip around a great big circle. I don't even remember where we were at, but I guess it was an island somewhere. And the highlight of the trip was stopping at a pile of rocks they called the ruins. And I could tell the guy was just making stuff up to entertain us. To make it even worse, the truck had a flat tire. We actually had to call a cab to get back to it was a horrible trip, really horrible trip.
Ron, you know what invariably always happens when you do a group trip? There's always somebody on the trip with you that you've never met before who's just annoying in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe they ask too many dumb questions. Maybe they're touching the art, whatever it is. Honestly, stuff like that just drives me up a wall. Yeah. And ultimately, what happens when you settle for a group tour because of money or something else, what you get is a lesser experience. And you're going to come home not remembering the things that you saw and you did. You're going to remember that annoying person who you had to put up with the whole time.
Yeah.
And ultimately, what is your money for if it isn't to be able to have a great time?
Right. So how do we get from place to place?
Well, like I said, we use private English-speaking transportation. with gratuity included anytime you have your luggage. So it means we pick you up from your front door and take you to the airport, and we drop you off at your front door after your tour is finished.
Okay.
Anytime that you're leaving your hotel to go to a train station or an airport, we've got a ride for you. And anytime that it's more than 20 minutes from point to point, we have a ride for you. The only times we don't have a ride for you is, let's say, for example, you're going to go have dinner at a restaurant that's a 5-10 minute walk or cab ride away. It just doesn't make sense for us to set that up for you ahead of time. And so we'll expect you to get a cab or walk or do what you need to do. But for all other transportation that fits those parameters, we're going to take care of that 100% of the time.
So some of these trips means getting on an airplane, going from place to place, not getting in a bus.
I mean, mostly just because, if you're flying to Peru or Ecuador or Japan or, Vietnam or Europe, you're going to fly there, right? Once you get there, we typically don't use flights anymore. But we do like to use alternative transportations, things like trains and boats. I'll give you a classic example. One of my favorites is in Belgium, and going from Bruges to Ghent is one of the greatest experiences. Is taking a private boat with a little lunch as you cruise down the canals going through the countryside. That's just a phenomenally great way to be able to travel from one place to another in a relaxed setting that exposes you to a lot of things that you wouldn't normally see with any other company.
Okay. I think I get it. I'm anxious to look up what the trips you have are.
Mm-hmm.
I will be booking one with you as soon as the boss tells me where we want to go. Or, well, it's like going to a restaurant. Where do you want to eat? I don't care. Where do you want to go? 57 years of that. So I have to make the decision myself, but I got to get the input,
Well, that's the beauty, Ron, is that we've seen that, so much, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has an agenda, right? And so what I like about our system is you don't have to choose one place to get one proposal. If you want, you can shop and check out 3 or 4 different trips, different places, different amounts of times, different locations. And our challenge to our customers right now is that in 5 days, you can plan 18 months worth of your travel, which is faster than any other company can get you one proposal. So if you want to plan the next 3-4 trips, you can do that in less than 5 days in the comfort of your home without having to give a single person any personal details about yourself. And you can quote 100% of those things like that.
Well, Shane, what if I put up a deposit and I get sick or something and can't go?
Well, there's a lot of different things, but obviously we have cancellation policy where depending upon how things are going, or how far along in the process you are, how much money you get back. Our process is super simple, though. We do a $5,000 deposit and full payment 90 days out.
Okay.
So we take care of 100% of the problems that happen throughout the entire process. I'll give you some examples. We provide a fashion guide to our client that shows you where you're going to go, what to wear, or suggestions what to wear, depending on whether it's hot weather, cold weather, rainy weather, sunny weather. Depends on where you're going to go, things that you would need to know. For example, if you're going to the Vatican,